You are now tuned in to The Gifted Gab.
We are back. Another episode of 1K Convos on The Gifted Gab, and I've got a special guest, a returning guest. My man Sterling Scott. What's going on, big fella?
Oh man, that's good. There's a lot's been going on. There's so much to even get into. Like, there's good, the bad, and the ugly. And I mean, well, that's what we're here to talk about,
We're
man.
here,
like,
man.
where do
We're
we even begin?
It's
been a minute.
it's been a minute. You know, some turbulent times. We're in.
I mean, well, we were here at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Was it the beginning?
Yeah, because I know that this was just after you had got COVID.
Oh yeah.
So
it
I know
was the beginning.
like, it was like the beginning. Like, now we're back, and it's like, what's been going down? First off, I almost got killed. Someone tried to kill me.
When?
Just 2 weeks ago. So I was in Victoria for a comedy club called Hecklers. And it was on the same night as the Freedom Convoy coming to Victoria.
Oh, no way.
And so I have Alberta plates, and they couldn't bring their trucks, so they all had just vehicles with Alberta plates. And I finished my show, and then I left. And then when I was driving to leave the island, my tire flew off on the highway. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I had these tires like triple checked, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's no way. And why just one random tire? You know, and it turns out that someone had loosened the lug nuts on my front tire.
No way.
And it's apparently been a thing in BC that some idiot's way of protesting is to protesting that they don't like Albertans coming to BC or some shit like that during the pandemic, whatever. And so that's what they're doing. So there was quite a few cases of people's, tire being removed, loosened, lug nuts being loosened, and the people with Alberta plates were being targeted. And so with the Freedom Convoy coming through, they probably thought that I was part of it or something, and or maybe they just saw Alberta plates, and I'm at a comedy show, I'm in some bar in a basement, so yeah, and it was wild because everything happened so lightning quick. Like, the tire just flew off, right, and then now all I see is the driver's side of the car is on fire. That's all I see is fire just shooting out. And then I look in my rearview mirror to see the tire just miss another car as it's flinging backwards. And then I avoid 3 trucks that are in a construction zone that are driving. Then I miss about 6 construction workers while driving on 3 wheels on the side, right? And I managed to get literally off just to the side of the road, and it stops in front of a sign, and it says next city is Hope. Yeah. And it shook me up bad because I was like angry because, I'm just like, how did that happen? How did I survive? Like, the construction people came running over like, how the hell did you survive? We just saw the car on fire. It was crazy. And I was really angry and everything. And then I don't know, at what point something changed in me when I looked at the significance of that someone tried to kill me and I'm still here, which means it's like, maybe you do have purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever your purpose is on this planet is still out there. And so it gave me that belief where if every morning you wake up, that means that you still got a purpose. And it kind of helped me deal a lot with anxiety and depression because, when you're in a deep state of depression, when you wake up, the feeling is, oh my God, I'm awake, and now with this type of experience, which gave this revelation, now when you wake up, I'm awake. You know what I mean? Like, I got shit to do. And so that was just a few weeks ago. And it also had still had me, pretty angry and upset about this whole, because I'm not upset at the individual as much as I'm upset as the way that this whole pandemic thing has been being handled, that has people so scared that they would think that unloosening the lug nuts on someone's tires is a way of helping. Like that's how messed up people are right now on both sides.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible thing to see, that we at the bottom are basically eating each other while people at the top are trying to, figure out which ways they can manipulate and get the maximum amount of control and money and power and position out of this situation. So I just seen it as a very disgusting thing. And I was feeling it was time for a mushroom scrub, mushroom cleanse. For those of them that don't know, when I call a mushroom cleanse when you take like a large amount of mushrooms, like 6 grams, and you just, get in that soul. You know what I mean? Start asking them questions.
Introspection.
Yeah. And so I did that. And, I like to ask questions because I feel like mushrooms are like a tool, but the side effect is wee. You know what I mean? Like, it's the most amazing, fun time. But I find that if I were to ask certain questions, I feel like when you're on mushrooms, I don't know what it is, but when you're on mushrooms, if you want to figure something out, you know the answer. You can find the answer. Like nothing seems impossible to figure out when you're on mushrooms. And it's almost like, so I always attributed that, like, when I ask the question that the mushrooms give me the answer, I don't know, whatever. But that's what it feels like. Because sometimes the answers just fall out of your mouth. Like the question will be in your head, and then the answer will come out of your mouth, which is funny because you usually ask the questions out loud and think about what the answer will be in your head. And it's almost like a regurgitation, like a vomiting of the truth. And that only happens usually like on mushrooms, like almost like in a
deep state of meditation.
Yeah, like it, like that place where it's like, how did that happen? And the mushrooms told me, like, I asked the mushrooms, like, why am I upset? And, why do I have hard times just even getting out of bed? And, and it was like, you are thinking way too much about, what you've got to do when you're leaving to go to LA, And my other question was, well, help me be funny. And it's like, you are the funny. So just be you. And that's it. Just be yourself.
And sometimes it's that simple.
Right. And it's like, that's why it's always funny to me when sayings that seem cliche, but when you live through a moment, that cliche just like it clicks. So like, you're like, I get it. That's why that's why it's it. Like, you know what I mean? And so that it was one of those moments for me, like, just be yourself. Like, this is what you do. These are a crowd, a bunch of people, the comedians. It's just, that's it. It's nothing special, nothing different. Just go. And it was just like a weight off of my chest.
You feel better since your cleanse?
Yes, definitely. It's almost like I'm can't wait to go back again. It's like a hot shower. How you feel after one of those? It's just something completely different. Mushrooms aren't for everybody, but for people that like it, I highly recommend taking you don't have to do 6 grams. You can do 3 or 4 grams. Will get you there, and just shut off all the world, and just allow yourself to go inside. And it's a little scary in there. It's crazy when it's like, when the thing that you're afraid of is yourself. And a lot of people, when I tell them about that introspective, their biggest fear is that they wouldn't like what they saw inside. And that was one thing that I never wanted to be. I didn't want to be someone who believed they were good on the outside but not on the inside. I was like, nah, let's see what's in there. Like, what is what is it? Because a lot of us refuse to be seen as anything other than the hero of our own story.
The ego.
Yeah. And so I don't want that. You know, in order to elevate and get to a higher state, you have to let go. And the more I go on those deep dives where it's introspective, and it's deep, man, it is, you know, like I'm talking, take the lights off, sit there, lay there in the dark with just you, and them demons come out. Boy, them demons come out. But, you know,
it's hard for people to do that sober, like just with themselves, period.
that is bad. If you have a hard time just doing that sober, I can only imagine the pain that you're suppressing. And the thing is that what we tend to find is that the thing that hurts us is the thing that we tend to try to hold on to the hardest. And that's why it's like, for me, important to go inside and do that cleanse, because what I'm trying to do is be myself.
That's all you can do.
Right. But how do you know who yourself is when you are afraid to even find that person out? Right. And that's kind of why I want to know myself inside and out before I enter into, you know, Hollywood, because a lot of people lose their soul in their way, and
It's an ugly place.
it is. It's a beautiful scene with an ugly place, right? And I don't want to lose my way at that point, because, you know, I've seen too many of the same stories. And so I have high expectations for myself of what my goals are, what I want to do. And I don't want to end up in that quicksand, you know? So
It's easy.
after the mushroom cleanse, you know, we're here now.
And you're feeling good. You're feeling like yourself now.
I definitely feel a lot. I can only attribute it to the feeling of being sweaty and tired, and then you go and you have a hot shower. When you come out of that hot shower, how do you feel? You know, it's
Fresh.
just that. Yeah, it's just that you're the same person. You know what I mean? You know, but for some reason you just feel lighter. You had water on you, but now you feel lighter for some. You know, so it's just, that's the way it feels. It feels like, okay, I'm ready again. I feel like I just put on a pair of underwear that came out the dryer. You know, that kind of, I'm ready. And I'm glad that I'm feeling that way because of everything that's coming up. And what was really trippy is I started seeing a lot of angel numbers. Now, angel numbers, are you familiar with
Alignment,
those?
yeah, like the...
Yeah, so it started with 444.
And they all have a different meaning.
Right. And I didn't know what the hell they were because I didn't research anything. It's just that it would be in such obvious ways that it would be in my face. Like I'd be like, what time is it? And it'd be like 4:44. And then, okay. And then I'll wake up at 4:44 a.m. And then I'll, you know, get picked up. It'll be 4:44. Like the weird one that threw me off is I woke up at 4:44 a.m. Right. And then I went to sleep later on in the day. I have naps.
Naps are good, man.
Naps will change your life, baby. If you ain't having naps, woo, you need to get yourself a nap. A good 2 p.m. to 3:30.
That's a power nap.
Cause like 2 p.m. to 3:30 ain't nothing going on in your life. There's nothing going on between 2 and 3:30.
That's that after lunch.
Exactly.
Slumped.
There's a slump there. And I'm telling you, you get just a good one, just a woof. Unadulterated, especially if you have a day job. Because, anybody with a day job that works 8 hours knows if you could sleep for 10 minutes or catch a 10-minute sleep, it's beautiful. You be in a broom closet. Just, I got 4 more minutes. I'm gonna sleep all of these minutes. Don't wake me up. I got 30 seconds. Like it's a huge refresher. And so I woke up at 4:44 p.m. and then I checked my emails and I had exactly 444 emails unread. And then it was like I got an e-transfer. It was for 444. It was like stupid like that. And so I was like, that's a ridiculous amount of times in a day to see that. And
what do you think it was trying to tell you?
Well, I didn't know, right? And then I was talking to somebody. I was talking about it on stage just this Wednesday after I had doing my mushroom cleanse, right? And I was just like talking about randomly how I see 111, 333, 555, and 444, and I don't know why. I'm like, but whatever. And then when I came off stage, some lady from the crowd, and it's funny, it was a small crowd too, but this lady from the crowd was like, yo, 111 and it means this. And basically she was like, 444 means that everything that you have, the foundations that you have laid down are coming to fruition. Then she said 111 are the things that you have wished for, the universe is going to answer. And then she was like 555 means that you are now going to change. And then she's like, are you going anywhere? And I said, yeah, I'm going to Los Angeles in 7 days. And she goes, and I was like, and it was trippy because, you know, like she literally, from the numbers I said on stage, told me what was going on in my life. And I don't know about, you know, because she's one of them ladies that like, I charge my crystals by the moonlight. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's like, you got to take it with a little grain of salt. You know, you got to take it with a little grain of salt.
But then it starts to resonate with you.
It does. It does. And then it got real weird is that I would turn on TV shows just randomly, and the TV show would be applying to something in my life. Like I came home. So this was Wednesday, and I came home Wednesday night, and then I was with the kids Thursday, and we were watching Sing Part 2. Mm-hmm. And I never seen the movie. What is the movie about? These guys trying to go to New York to make it, but they keep telling them that they're not good enough, and then they have to fight because the crowds love them, but the gatekeepers won't let them pass, and it doesn't make any sense. They're like, we're crushing, we're selling out shows, we're getting standing ovations, everybody loves us, and they're like, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And then the guy just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and finally to the point where they get on a show, they put on a show, like a renegade show, and the whole world sees it, and now the gatekeepers are like, aren't these guys great? We love them. And it just is like, that's what I've been going through, you know what I mean? Like where, you know, everything, you know, you're killing, you're crushing, you're doing so well, and yet you're seeing, you know, gatekeepers be like, nah, we pass. And you're just like, what the hell? And it let me see that what makes you great is not the acceptance from the gatekeepers, but the acceptance of yourself to work that hard to say, fuck them, I'm going to get on this stage and do it. Yeah, and I was like, damn, I'm like, okay, relax, I get it, you know? And then I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to, pay these bills and stuff because, you know, shows get canceled a lot. It's summer times, the shows slow up. It's not the same, you know? And then I get a email from Sound Exchange, and they just sent me $4,000, and I was like, I hear you, angel numbers. I hear you. So I was like, listen, I'm listening. I'm like, and I'm horny. Still waiting on that. You know what I mean? Still waiting on that thing. If you're listening, direct me. You know what I'm saying? What angel number is that? Is it? Usually it's 7 digits. That is an angel's number. But if you're listening. And so now it's just the preparation, and tomorrow is the fundraiser show. Mm-hmm. So by the time
at Boca.
Yeah, at Boca, it's gonna be interesting because I didn't really plan it very well. I got caught up, I got busy, and so Saturday's a hard day to book comics, and man, it's gonna be a good time, but it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be wild.
Some people flourish in chaos.
I mean, that's where I live. Normal people bore me, you know. I don't like normal people because you know what the outcome is. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that kind of stuff it bores me, and I like the excitement of the unknown. That's kind of what makes things exciting for me personally. is what's gonna happen next. It's some people are comfortable with the known, and that's cool. I'm just not that person, and so like I like that wild shit. Like I like that crazy shit, man. It's like that. It's like that Chris Rock joke where he's like, if I'm on a date with another couple, another married couple, we need to have at least a crackhead at the table. Because at least the crackhead has done something interesting, you know? And it's true. It's like, it's
real.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Yeah, I think I could relate to that, man. I think, the mundane, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it gets too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you want something, you want the unknown. You want to know what's out there for you. You know, you want to guess what the angel numbers is trying to tell you. You know, and I think you only get that when you're chasing something that fulfills you. You know, because the destination is never, the fulfillment doesn't come from getting there.
Yeah,
it's all in that process.
It's the work. It's the work. It's definitely, and it's like that's like when a comedian is tired of a joke. It's like, why would you be tired of the joke? He's like, yeah, because I know it works. It's like the fun was figuring this shit out. And so I totally get that. And that's it's also always in my mind to just keep with the work. Like, it's scary, man. Like, I got to go up, and people don't think it's scary because of the way
you make it look easy.
Yeah. Well, thank you that you think it's rough out there. I'm sweating buckets, kid. I'm like, give me a towel. It's not going well. It's fucking bad, man. But like, people think that it's easy, but it's difficult for me to have to navigate through the emotions of this crowd that I have to, unite and tie together.
And it's always different.
Yeah, it's like, that table over there is talking, and this table over there, the girl's on their phone, and then this one over here, they're doing shots, and then one guy looks up and goes, he's not even funny. It's like, you're not listening. This is ridiculous. I don't know how I'm going to get through. But it's nervousness a lot. And I have high expectations for myself. And this is the material that I'm doing during this show. It will be like, I'm going in because it's the fundraiser show. So anybody that shows up is going to have one hell of a good time because I kind of feel like with the angel numbers and with all these coincidences, all these things happening, I'm feeling like my time's about to blow. Like, this is it.
And it's long time.
Yeah, like I've never been this funny in my life. And I'm headed off to Los Angeles to perform at Chocolate Sundays, Mo Better Mondays, the Comedy Store, like Laugh Factory, all these big places. And it just feels like, instead of it being like exciting, it just feels more like now it's your time. Like that's what everything's been telling me with the mushrooms and the angel numbers and the, and the people at shows. Like, it's wild. Like, if you have a good show as a comedian, you touch people emotionally. Yeah. And it gets weird because like you come off the stage and you don't know this person, but this person feels like they've bonded with you, like you're their best friend, like they know everything about you. So they're like, we know everything about each other, and it's like, no man, I don't know you, bro. Like, it's weird. And so to have all these things coming together in alignment, and 444 being that all the groundwork that you have laid is going to come to fruition. And that's the one that started it with all the numbers. It's kind of like, maybe I'm going to have to charge these crystals by the moon. Like, I don't know. So, it's still nervous and exciting. Anybody who's ever chased their dream, I would be shocked if they weren't nervous at the moment of it coming to fruition, after hard work, that is. Like, if something's given to you right away, you don't appreciate it.
You take it for granted.
Exactly. Well, 15 years, and it's like, you got 5 minutes. Are you nervous? It's like, nah, I've been waiting for 15 years. I think the nerves are gone now. Well, thanks to the mushrooms.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting. So Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, it's and I think the timing of it, because, it's been a pandemic for 2 years. So for a while, you weren't able to even get out and work like that. So you had to be, whatever you thought you may have been ready for before the pandemic happened, you had to wait 2 more years. You know? So you had to find new ways to stay creative and keep working on your craft. And then now, thank God, things are opening up. But, we got monkeypox around. I don't know what's going on with that. But, it's time now. I feel like, the time we were tucked away, we all had a chance to really sit with ourselves.
Some of us. Some people, a lot of young people didn't give a damn. They didn't sit with themselves. They were out there. And some people who were extreme extroverts, they couldn't survive. They were out there. There was a lot of people who were like renegades. Like, I'm talking like, top of the pandemic. I'm talking like was it March it came out? So I'm talking like May, and people are at like house parties like, I don't care. I'm like, man, we 3 months in, dog, chill.
Yeah,
like, you could like, still in the thick of it. Yeah, like you could have handled 3 months, dog. You could never go to the pen. You know what I mean?
I found it was such an interesting experience seeing how everybody was dealing with it. I was one of those people that was an extreme extrovert. But then when the pandemic happened, I came out on the end of it an introvert, which is really weird. I thought it was a really, really weird thing it did to me.
I didn't know you could switch teams.
I switched teams. I was like, now I'm just like, man, how do you want to go outside? It's like, it's ghetto out there.
That could be some lack of vitamin D. I'm telling you, man. Like, get some sun on your face to change a lot of things. I still hate people, but I like them a lot more. I like them a lot more with some sun on my face. I never understood these concepts until later on in life. And it's only later on in life that I started to realize certain things about me. Like, I would always be like, oh, well, I'm an ambivert. You know what I mean? I'm both, right? And they're like, why would you say that? I'm like, well, I get exhausted being around people. And they're like, well, they're like, that's not ambivert. If you're getting exhausted, I'm like, well, what? I got to charge up. You don't charge up. You don't charge up. You don't take a breath. You don't even take a breath. You just go out there raw dogging people, just raw facing, with just all no energy. Like, give me some orange juice. You're ridiculous. I don't like this conversation. You know what? You've drained me. You've drained me. You've ruined my day. You've ruined my day. Bye. I don't like you. I don't like this. I don't like this.
I get like that though now. I was never like that before. I get like that. I'm like, oh man, I've had enough of these people. I need to go home.
Yeah.
But that never used to happen to me. I used to be able to stay out all night.
Not me, man. I can't wait to go home. As soon as I get out that car, I'll be like, I can't wait to go home. I'm like, what time is it? I just don't even drive the car too far. Just leave it down the street. I'm in and I'm out. Hi, I've seen everybody. What are we doing? I want to go home. I'm wearing pants still. This is disgusting. This is restrictive. I need to leave. I need space. I can't.
No, the one habit I picked up out of the pandemic was after work, I go home. I kick up on the balcony. I watch the sunset and I spark a spliff and just 2 hours just watch the sunset. That's something I never used to do. I could never have that moment to just sit and just chill. And it's something I started doing, when we were all at home during that pandemic. And now it's something that's ingrained in my lifestyle now. Someone will call me, hey, let's go out and, hit the town. And I say, you know what? I'm watching the sunset. Just leave me alone. All right? Not tonight.
That's dope. I shot arrows in my living room until I ended up putting one through the window.
Like actual bow and arrow?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep. I thought it was a good way to bond with my son.
With your son?
So I took the bow and arrow out and I go, we're going to shoot this in the living room. And he goes, in the house? And I go, maybe this isn't a good idea, but we're here now.
Why do you have a bow and arrow in the first place?
Well, I wanted to get outdoors before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, and now I'm like, well, I got to learn how to hunt because they don't let me in Loblaws.
We're going to take a break right there.
Are you tired of the running around for a specific hair product, for a specific type of hair? Are you tired of overpaying for services like weave and extensions? Well, are you in Northwestern Canada's best kept secret? Afro Era in North Edmonton is now open and operating right at Londonderry Mall. Come shop all things black, including hair care, beauty products and accessories, and hair itself. Now accepting online orders as well as walk-ins for braids, weave, and more. There's no more running around to find the right products and services. Your hair is a statement, so treat it like one. Visit us in-store or shop with us online at afroera.ca.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's pigeons everywhere now.
No, I don't spend a lot of time downtown.
It's good. You know, I mean, starting to look a lot like Toronto with all the damn pigeons. I was like, no, this is not happening now. I got away from these guys. I got away, and now we're here. We might have to bring that bow and arrow.
There's a lot of food outside.
That's exactly what that means. A lot of food just chilling.
You know that pigeons came over here as a delicacy. That's how we started having pigeons became indigenous to North America.
As a delicacy?
Yeah.
Like we used to eat pigeons.
Yeah. Well, not us, but there's a certain type of people that did that. But yeah, that was a delicacy. It was brought over from, I believe, European cuisine. Is it? It's called squaw, or I can't remember the name of it. I did not know that. Yeah, but that's how pigeons came here. They came here as something that they would eat, and then they bred like sky rats, and then
they are sky rats. Yeah, they are sky. They're everywhere.
Yeah, but that's how they came here. People was eating them. So if times get rough, you know what I mean.
You're eating a pigeon if time gets rough.
Jasper fried chicken, yo. That's what I call that, yo. I boil that, put some green seasoning, yo. Mash up a pigeon, yo. Listen, I'm from the Caribbean. If we can curry a goat, then
if a goat,
yeah. If you ever look at a goat and you go, "Boy, I go curry that thing," then you could definitely curry a pigeon. All right.
I don't know if I'd curry a pigeon.
No, that's because we just didn't grow up around them. Okay. Because if pigeons were indigenous to Trinidad, there'd be Kentucky Fried Pigeon every day.
KFP.
Yeah, and it would be way cheaper. It'd be finger licking cheap. That's what it would be.
These damn pigeons, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it, but it's a thing. It's real.
You tried that fried chicken spot on the south side? Soul fried chicken?
No, I've never heard of it.
Korean fried chicken.
Oh, okay. What is it? It's called Soul Fried Chicken.
I'm probably butchering the name. It's SEOUL. Seoul?
Oh, Seoul. It's Korean.
Korean, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I haven't been there.
You might have to stop.
I'm going to have to Google that. You know, if you get a fried chicken at a gas station over on 106.
I've had it one time.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what gas station you're talking about.
That's
wild. That's rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice with that chicken. Yo, you're falling on hard times.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That's the best fried chicken I ever had in the city, man.
That's bold. That's a bold statement.
I'm going there tonight. Like
it's late. They got it late over there.
Yo, they do. That is the fun. Yo, that's a staple in Edmonton. Steel Wheels, and then that place are two places where you go. You can't serve food in here, and then you're eating there. Like, all right, I'm eating here,
and it's good.
It's good. Steel Wheels is fantastic.
I
You ever go there?
Never had it.
Steel Wheels is just off of Gateway before you go down the hill to go downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So like White Ave area. It's just White Ave area, just off the Ave, and they have like cheap food, like it's like $5, like $6, and it's like you guys are definitely washing money. There's no way
with inflation at this.
Yeah, I'm like, can I can I see that chicken, please? Because there's a lot of pigeons outside, and they're crying a lot, right? You know what I mean? Like they're burying a guy. There's just bones. I don't know. Like shouldn't pigeons be crying next to a 2-piece? Is all I'm saying. Can I see? But like, yeah, like the food there. I'm just joking, by the way. Steel Wheels, if you're watching, I'm just joking. Don't fuck with me. I like your food because I'm gonna be there later on. But like they have like really low prices, and the food is really good. Mm-hmm. Like they have chicken bulgogi, beef bulgogi. They got really good pizza. And it's dirt cheap, and it's like it's like this like little bar with all these like wooden chairs with graffiti and carving into it, and it's like, all right. This looks like a fucking, a cafeteria for degenerates, but, pizza's $5. I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat it.
It's Steel Wheels.
No, Steel Wheels, man. Yeah, that's the late night spot. That's the spot right there. And that's, if you're on White Ave, it's Steel Wheels. If you're downtown, is it 106 Ave? It was across the street from Mandela's, the shisha bar. The Husky gas station.
They need to bring back shisha in Edmonton. I think that's one thing.
But that was taken away because of racism. There's no other way you could tell me that. This is ridiculous. I hated that. Because Calgary still do it.
Calgary does it, yeah.
They don't care. They're like, It's just like, well, what is your purpose other than the fact that the people that had good shisha, weren't white-owned bars. Mm-hmm. And the reality was that all the white-owned clubs, you weren't getting the same numbers you were getting, and all of a sudden you had a problem with shisha bars. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so I never liked that. I mean, well, that's my conspiracy there. That's my little tinfoil hat. I believe that they removed it because of the fact that all the bars that shut down because of that legislation were black-owned.
Mm-hmm. And Arab-owned as well.
And black and Arab-owned, yeah. And it was like... They're like, oh, well, it's tobacco. And it's like, okay, well, then what happens when you told them to make it non-tobacco? And then they did it. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, so that was your excuse. And it's like, oh, well, the inhalant. Look, people are going in there. If you were worried about how people are affected by anything, then you wouldn't have any of these drugs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Alcohol be killing people daily.
Daily, yeah.
And you ain't shut down one bar. So don't act like you care. You know what I mean? I hate because... It's always that you could see, like, when money is involved, it's how much money before they stop caring about humanity. Mm-hmm. You know, like, it made me laugh when they were like, oh, we're shutting everything down. And then the large companies were like, no, they're shutting down. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, yeah, they're shutting down. It's like, yeah, that's what we thought, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, it was at one point in Toronto, it's like anybody who's running around yelling, trust the science, you're brainwashed, because how do you tell me that it made sense that in Toronto they would tape off the stalls? Like, you can buy this, but you can't buy that.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No. Like, they legitimately were suggesting that we use glory holes. Like, these are the people that we were following? Like, are you...
It was a lot of...
and they said these things. These are not exaggerations of what... And people just was like,
okay, we'll do it.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. Like, come on, guys. Mm-hmm. Realize that there's an idiot over there. Anybody is like, listen, if you want to have sex, go to glory. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Don't you come around here with no foolishness.
I think it's interesting how, we started to see kind of people... Two things we saw. One, I think that politicians are human. They don't have all the answers. That's first and foremost. And even scientists don't have all the answers. They got answers. Mm-hmm. But when money gets involved, when big corporations...
They create that answer.
They create the answer. Mm-hmm. When Big Pharma gets involved, even big tech, it doesn't matter who you're... When money's involved, things change. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is, politicians don't have as much control as we think they have or as we perceive them to have, right? Because everything has to go to council or legislature, or, it has to go to a vote most of the times. Mm-hmm. And, the pandemic was showing me, like, okay, well, one, everybody's black and whiting everything. Everything's becoming this or that. It's like, oh, if you do this, then you're this, and if you're a supporter of this, then you're this, and there's a lot of that kind of discourse.
I hate it. It's tribalism. It's human nature for us to just want to be on a team, and then eventually, once we've picked our teams, then no matter how stupid our team sounds, it's like, well, that's my team. It's ridiculous.
It's identifying with. They begin to identify with one side versus the other, and
that's the problem, because your identity should not be based off of an opinion. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, actually, your identity,
because an opinion can change, but your identity is now remaining, and which is why you will see people neglect to hear information that is true because it doesn't align with their identity. It's stupid. It's
the opposite of confirmation bias. What is that?
Yeah.
What's the opposite of confirmation bias? I don't know.
I don't know, man. But I was smoking weed.
And it's weird. It's just the world has become weird.
The world is always weird because we're human beings and we've been fucking it up, don't you think? Like, when was the world normal for you?
When was the world normal for me?
You see what I'm saying? It's like, no, this is just our time. This is, the baton's been passed.
It's our
you know
time
what I mean?
to shine.
Look. I'm 40 years old, okay? So when I was in elementary school, there was the wall, right? There was the Cold War. There was AIDS. There was cancer.
It's a lot of shit.
And so that was their time. Now, 40 years later, we've got Ukraine versus Russia. We've got
the pandemic.
It's just our shit. This is just our time. We've always been in chaos. There's never not been chaos because we're human beings, and unfortunately, we are the chaos. That's my only fear about the move towards with robots, because I'm like, guys, they're gonna figure out that we're imperfect.
They're gonna figure out that they're better than us.
Yeah, and then it's over. All right, you don't train the fucking guy to take your job. Have you seen vibrators? None of us have beaten one yet. All right, none of us.
I'm not competing with the vibrator. There's no way.
You can't.
You can't.
Right? You can't. All you could do is wait for the battery to die.
It's got 8 speeds.
Yeah, you're like, well, I'm gonna take away your charger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's got the power now? This is ridiculous. Now she outside waiting for a lightning bolt. You don't want to wait your girl outside waiting for a lightning bolt. You know that the vibrators are so strong now that if a woman uses it regularly, it could desensitize her clitoris.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I've trust me, I've been there and failed at that. That's what I did. I was like, I'm punching it now. What are you? I come back. I think I left my shoe in there. I kicked her in.
I think, we talk about vibrators, we talk about, tech and AI. I think we're at a weird point that, technology and these novelties, they keep coming and they keep getting more and more advanced. And they're coming faster than we know how to learn them.
Are you still buying your carpets from the same place you buy your fruits? Are you still buying your carpets from the same place you buy your underwear? Shame on you. Treat your own with some respect. Come shop with me at Kashan Persian Rugs. What's that you said? You can't afford one. Nonsense. You can come in store right now and walk out with the rug with our new Buy Now, Pay Later program. That's right. Buy now, pay later. Come shop with us at Kashan Persian Rugs.
It's interesting to see how, with tech moving and getting more advanced and more advanced and more advanced, as humans, we're not really keeping up to speed. We don't know.
Yeah. We don't evolve as fast as our technology does.
Exactly.
And that's what a weird mushroom trip question is, which is like, what is an idea? Because it's like, what is an idea? An idea, it's a thought. Okay, cool. But where did it come from? Because it's like, we are the catalyst that makes an idea come to life.
Absolutely.
So are we just a tool for the idea? Do we actually have the idea, or does the idea have us? Right? Because now these ideas are creating technology that is evolving faster than us. So then we're literally like building our next bosses. You know what I'm saying? And that's the theory through AI. And hey, if Elon Musk says you guys should be worried about that, I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him. And it's creepy.
I think it's interesting because it forces us to learn something new, right? It's like if technology is advancing and it's killing jobs, right? That's what
it is.
It's killing jobs, right? So that means it's forcing us to figure it out in a different way, which I see the bad about it, but this is also a good thing because it might force humans to say, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time I forget about working at the movie theater since this computer thing can take these movie tickets for me, right? Maybe it's time I start learning something that I like to do. It's forcing us to really think about how we can survive.
Well, here's a different thought. I look at it as that's how corrupt and evil our society is, that instead of striving for a society that has no jobs, where none of us work, the thought of losing jobs and still forcing people in society to still pay the same money just goes to show how corrupt we are. Like, we can remove jobs so we don't have to work. So then why make us pay for stuff? Right? And it's like, it's ridiculous that we as human beings have jobs.
Oh, it is ridiculous.
Right? Like, when no other animal on the planet has jobs. And it's like, this is what I say when it's like, are we just tools? You know what I mean? Like the beauty in being human is the imperfection in it. And the striving for perfection removes the human element from it. And the further you strive to perfection, the more you strive from human element. And when you have AI, which strives for what you told it to do, which is be perfect, then, because you want the best of everything, then it's going to be like, all right, well, then you have to go.
That's the
right?
trade-off.
And then you also lose the beauty of what, the crookedness in Mona Lisa's smile, the dimple in someone's cheeks, the mole on someone's face, the things that were imperfect about us that made us perfect is now removed. And then when you do that, then if you have something that's perfect, then it means it's all the same. And if it's all the same, then we've lost originality. And once you've lost originality, you've lost humanity. And so you see why I look at it as like evolution into the future with the de-evolution into humanity. And so that's why I'm afraid of it, because how long before we trade our soul for convenience?
Well, we've been trading our souls for convenience.
Exactly. And it's only we are puppy dog versions of our wolf-like ancestors. We are nothing compared to what they were. It's insane to call them savage or unintelligent, because the level of intelligence that it required to, be a hunter-gatherer, where you have to know the different fruits and vegetables, how to make a knife out of flint, how to skin an animal, how to make sure that you can make clothes, the amount of skills that they had to have to be human beings. I can promise you they probably didn't suffer from depression, because we have lost all those skills and pushed all those skills onto somebody else, who now, instead of one person who could do everything, it's like now you got the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, which is before it was one person, you know? And when you do that and you rely on others, we no longer know these skills. We no longer have any of these things. So
sovereignty is important, man, to be self-sustainable.
It is, man. It is. But it's been lost because convenience is easy. And the human brain will always take the path of least resistance. And that's what makes us weak, you know? And how can you ever fault somebody for wanting to take a day off in a world like this? So I don't know, man.
It's crazy.
I'm trying to be more connected back into the earth. Walk down a city street and walk through a park and tell me you don't feel a different connection. Like there's something in that. And concrete is death. There's just nothing alive in that. It ain't growing, you know?
I was talking to my brother about this. We were talking about, with Toronto and Vancouver are the most expensive places in Canada. And I was trying to explain to him that, that price tag in Vancouver is justified. Because when you walk outside in Vancouver, you got the beach over here, you got the mountains over here, you got the hills and the trees up here.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous over there. There's no snow. Like the perks. The perks warrant the price tag. And then Toronto, I love Toronto, but it's concrete. It's a lot of concrete. So then it comes down to.
It's exciting though. It's an exciting city where if. There's something going on every night.
Every single night.
Every night in some city, in some place, in some bar, there's something cool happening. And you just got to be the guy to find it out. And I get that about the city. I mean, that's where I was born and raised, right? And I never even left Scarborough.
Which is crazy.
And so...
What are your thoughts on them having a team?
They don't have the population. And where would they put the stadium? The economics behind it doesn't make sense to me.
They're playing at the Pan Am Center, aren't they?
As in an NBA team?
No, NBA team. The CEBL team.
Oh, wow. They can do that anywhere. Yeah. They can play in a rec center for all I care. They can play at the YMCA. Those are a bunch of 40-year-old men just like me. Just like, yo, man, maybe I'll make it to the bench.
They got J. Cole.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have a rapper on your team, you know that you're not on a real team. You're as good as a guy who just came out of the studio. That's where you're at right now. All right? So it's not Steph Curry on your team or Allen Iverson. It's J. Cole. All right? This is ridiculous. They could do that anywhere. That's nothing. That's a house league team. They should have that anywhere. They should have that for the fun of it. Just because of the fact that Scarborough people would love that, and they can have their own little hoop dream people, heroes, and they can also foster the talent, raise it up, because Toronto's always had fantastic basketball players, but at a certain level and stage, there wasn't an outlet for them to grow, and then because of that, because as soon as they got good, 17, 18, you were gone. But if you were a very talented high school basketball player, you were gone at 18.
Yeah, you were gone, yeah.
All right? So, because of the fact that we're constantly being extracted the best and leaving the rest, well, then what do you expect to happen? It's we're not going to have anything to bounce off of to grow. It's always just going to be like just the bottom of the barrels, right? And then on top of that, a lot of them, I don't know personally, but I'm like, you're being overwhelmed by American culture, and you are no longer gonna get the confidence you got from being a Canadian who was good. Now you're in America, and they're like, ugh, the Canadian, you know what I mean? And maybe you might lose confidence or whatever, because there were so many great players that nothing really transpired for them when they crossed over, and it's always a wonder what happened. Could be injuries, could be all the things, but could be just the fact that there's only like 10 of them. And it's like ridiculous odds.
Now it's different.
It's ridiculous odds in the beginning, first off, to think of all the universities and all the schools in America, and all of them have 12 top players, 5 top players, and it's like, Jesus, Murphy, you're 1 in 4,000. You know, it's like that's crazy. So actually, you know, it's just chalk it up to fucking being hard.
It's tough, but it's good to see the basketball culture kind of evolving in Canada. You know,
so that basketball team that J. Cole's on is in Scarborough.
It's in Scarborough Shooting Stars.
Oh, I just thought, you know, because I could have been like Scarborough was a different city name. So J. Cole plays for Scarborough.
For Scarborough.
Yes. Yes. Hey, he's one of my favorite rappers, man. I love it. I'm going to go get me a J. Cole jersey right now. What are you talking about?
I think we're going to get a serious J. Cole album after this summer, because a summer in Toronto, as you know,
is very it'll make an artist out of you. J. Cole will be coming back like, I don't know why the man's them were saying them things there on yo. It's an infectious culture. It's an infectious culture, but like that's so good that they have, because it's like Scarborough people are people that's do so much with so little.
They do, yeah.
And so having a basketball team with a superstar appeal to it, you know, where it's like he's a basketball player, but it's J. Cole you're gonna go watch. You're what does J. Cole, and then be able to see maybe your friends who never went to the league, but they're, you know, they were always like tall and lanky. You're like, what do you do? I don't know, man. I play at the YMCA. Now maybe they're coming off the bench, and you're like, yo, don't Connor, man, yo. And it's an exciting thing.
It is exciting.
Like, it's a way to continue to pursue the dream. So I love it. I did not know, but now I need to go get. What do they have games in July?
They're playing in Edmonton June 12th.
No, I'm gone.
I know, that's what I said. I'm gone.
No, yo. So how long is the league last? Because I'm in Toronto in July.
It's all summer.
Yo, I'm going to a game. I'm getting a J. Cole jersey, and I'm going to real Toronto. I'm like, yo, I want a roti. I don't want no fun. Yeah, we're doing this our way, all right? I want an oxtail from an angry Jamaican woman. You know what I mean? I want a Guinness.
This guy wants a whole experience. He wants a whole Toronto experience.
I want a Toronto experience. Yo, that's live. I did not know that. Because I saw the few posts about it, but I didn't know what CEBL was. I'm not in the know.
Yo, Edmonton won the last 2 championships.
Oh, well, like I said, I'm not in the know. And I'm pretty sure all those great basketball players at their day job are excited about the new season to play against J. Cole. Go Edmonton.
I think it's amazing. I love what Canada's
I'm so
doing.
mad I can't go to the June 12th one. I would be in there. I'd be in there. I'd heckle him.
You have to,
but I'd be funny about it. You know what I mean? Not mean.
Just funny.
I would just quote his lyrics and just be way better at it.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. I feel like I don't know what it is. I feel like Canada as a whole, whether it's basketball, whether it's entertainment, film, I feel like we're about to, you know, turn the corner. I think Toronto got when Toronto won the championship and the Drake effect and all that. Toronto it's been on top for a while. I think in terms of talent and just track record, Toronto, nobody's talking to Toronto the last few years. Okay,
I mean, no, of course not. And again, it's because everybody runs to Toronto whenever you get a little bit of talent. As a person from Toronto, you couldn't turn around twice without having someone else show up from a different. I'm from Halifax, or I'm from Newfoundland, or I'm from Thunder Bay, or I'm from the top of the top comes to one place, and then they're all bouncing off each other to become better.
And they're creating,
right?
and great talent comes out.
Same thing with comedy. The minute any of these comedians, another comedian was asking me the other day, they're like, hey, when do you think I should leave for Toronto? And I was like, well, what are you gonna do in Toronto? And they're like, well, I'm gonna go to the next, I'm trying to make it. And I'm like, well, then why would you go to Toronto? People in Toronto are leaving for New York and LA. Why are you going, to add another step? You know what I'm saying? But it's just like the lights, the glitz and the glamour. It excites them. But
there's some good guys. There's some funny guys coming out of Toronto. A lot of
there
great comedians.
is, but like, again, a lot of them are from all over the place, right? And it's like, Toronto's getting the pass, but Toronto has to get over themselves because Toronto people themselves will hold themselves back. You know, like they will dislike somebody regardless of their talent just because, you know? Like Drake didn't make those songs, Fuckers Never Loved Us, because he had a huge fan base in Scarborough. You know what I mean? Like he was always talented. He was always great. And he says it in his songs. I used to do shows and pray you guys would show up. Now I could sell out the goddamn place 6 times over, no problem. So you see, if Toronto people were more like, I like the culture in America where they have their own city, like each city has their scene and they support it heavy. Like you go to Atlanta, they just got Atlanta rappers on the radio, they're the stars, they're the people. You go to New York, they got New York rappers, and so on and so on and so on. You notice that in the Bay, in California, everybody has their sets, but in Canada, we don't care where you're from. They don't want to hear you, you know? And so we need to stop looking for recognition from the outside to find it within. What I mean when I say that is we need to stop hoping that we make it in America so that you'll accept us at home. And that's why I don't think going to Toronto is a benefit at this point in time, because even Toronto people, as much as they're like, oh, I got love from the city, they base that love off of what happens from with outside. You know what I'm saying? And until we get some kind of star culture or some kind of support, because none of our platforms are watched by us. All of our platforms are watched. All the platforms we watch are American. Right? We watch all American television. You know, if I asked you a stand-up comedian, you'd more than likely give me an American comedian. If you're talking about somebody who does stadiums and I ask you for a Canadian, you can only give me one, and that's Russell Peters. If I ask you, give me another, there's none. Right? And then when I say that to people, they're always like, well, we don't have the same population. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why is it that when an American comes here, they're doing stadium tour, but a Canadian can't? And they're like, oh, well, they have more fans. Yeah, they have fans in America. They're not crossing the border to fill the stadiums. Those are Canadians coming out. The platforms that you're seeing them on that makes them famous, yeah, those are American ones. We don't have any Canadian ones because there's no interest to create any. Canadian television is terrible. CBC is horrible. And I worked for them. I'll tell you right now, I'm on CBC, and it's like they're boring. Like everything for them is to be super safe. And it's like
you gotta push boundaries, man. You gotta
grow. You gotta evolve. They're doing nothing because there's no pressure because of the fact that CBC is a Canadian broadcasting channel, which means that they have to have some level of television that is Canadian funded, and so they exist out of just you're the only one, right? And so it's like there is no competition. I'm government funded. It doesn't matter.
That's been a topic of conversation,
and that's the problem. Like, we have channels that don't matter. You know, there's no TV show that showcases stand-up comedy. There's no TV show that showcases music. So then how does our people find outlets, right? Like these things are taken from us. And so where do we see the outlets? In America. And then we run to America. And then when they blow up, they're recognized as Americans before they are Canadians. And then they have little exposés like, did you know that this person's Canadian? And it's like, that's sad because when they were in Canada, you wouldn't do this expose, you know? And this is, again, why I say there's no point in going to Toronto. I would say go to Vancouver. Vancouver is real good for their movies. There's a lot going on out there.
Yeah, I was out there filming.
Oh, you were?
Last month, just our documentary. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, oh man,
it's gorgeous, eh?
It's gorgeous.
Oh man, I was in Victoria. Oh man. Well, when they tried to kill me, but like,
I can't believe they tried to kill you. They tried to assassinate you.
You know what I'm saying? I had a dream. I was driving on 3 wheels. Like, that was crazy, man. That was wild. A lot of times I've almost died in my car.
But not with someone trying to deliberately.
No, this was the first deliberate murder attempt on my life. Not the last. It won't be the last. If there's anything I know about myself, you know, even as I'm sitting there, I was like, yeah, I get it. You know, You wanted to kill me. I get it. You know what I mean? Just do it a better way. You should have slashed my tires. You know what I'm saying?
No, but then you'd see the slash.
Right, exactly. But like then,
you should be stuck.
Then I'm like screwed. Right now I'm screwed. But with the tire flying off, I could have killed other BC people. Isn't that the people you were trying to protect? You idiots, right? So it's like, it's why I was so angry at how stupid.
It's botched. It's a botched murder attempt.
There'll be better ones. Okay. I'll step my game up. I'll get some better ones.
I just want to see I want to see the sequence of events that led up to them, loosening the lugs on your.
Well, they weren't in my show because I was crushing in there. It had to be somebody on the outside. Like, fuck that guy. It was bad. The other one was I was driving to I just have the worst luck. I was driving to where was I going on that trip? Yeah, I was driving to Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving to Phoenix in a 1988, what I call fucking rape van. Just those big brown vans with the bed in the back and the black windows with the little curtains with the fucking.
Where'd you get that van from?
Yo, from some dude who probably did bad things in it, and I got it for $2,000, and I was like, I'm driving this, and I drove across Canada first. And so I drove Edmonton to Toronto. Then I went Toronto, Ottawa, back to Edmonton. No, I stopped in Saskatchewan and then to Edmonton. Then from Edmonton, drove to Seattle. Then from Seattle, went to California. And then when I went over through Vegas and then down to Phoenix, the car. It was so hot in Phoenix at that time that my radiator exploded.
Holy smokes.
It couldn't handle that heat. I literally had the heat on high, right? So it's 45 degrees Celsius outside, 65 degrees Celsius in the car because the thermostat blew first. So when the thermostat blows, in order to keep the car driving, you got to put the heat on high. So I did that, and that only lasted for so long before. Like I made it pretty far because I was driving through like the desert for a while. Like, it looked like
you put yourself in the slow cooker.
Yeah, I did. And eventually the car was like overheated, and I was like, okay. It was getting so bad. It was like people were dying on this day. And I'm sitting outside with the hood up, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for the nighttime, because in the nighttime it becomes a cool 30 degrees Celsius, and then that way, after I dust the icicles off, I'll get back on the road in this weather, because outside was hot. So I was sitting there on the side of the road cooking, and I was sitting outside of the car because it's too hot to be in the vehicle, of course, and a police officer pulls up. I was so hot. This is the first time as a black man I was happy to see the police. And the police officer goes, "What happened?" And I told him, I'm like, "Yo, my rad, I think, blew up." And he goes, "You're going to die." He goes, "Do you have any water?" I go, "No." And he goes, "You're going to die." And then he's like, "Do you have the money for a tow?" And I said, "Nope." And he goes, "You're going to die." And then he got in his car and left. Like this motherfucker was like, all lives matter, but not that one. Like, this guy left and just left me out there. And then, true story, I'm sitting there, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And this car pulls up, and they go, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I told the story, and they go, "You're gonna die." And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard this before." And they go, "We'll be right back." And I don't know where they went. The closest town is a hour away. All right, I don't know where they went, but they went somewhere, and they came back. And he came out of the car, and he gave me it was a native dude too, and he came out and he gave me 12 liters of water. He goes, "You drink 4 of them, and then use the other one to pour in your rad and drive to the next town, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, do it in the night when it's cold." So, and then he gave me fried chicken. Now, I haven't eaten in 38 hours. I ate that. I ate the bag. I ate the styrofoam. Like, I looked exactly like what they think black people look like when we eat chicken. Because, like, I almost bit his hand. I was like, It was almost like they were like, yeah, there we go. I was like, hope they do like it. It's like, yeah. And I was like, don't you look at me. Where'd you get fried chicken? Because I'm like, where'd you get fried chicken? We're in the desert. Like, we are in Roadrunner country. It is desert, nothing around, no reception. And I'm sitting on the side of the road, and they show up with fried chicken and 12 liters of water. I'm meant to be here, man. Like, I'm not. My guardian angel is just like shaking and smoking, like this motherfucker. Because the amount of work they got to put in to keep me alive is like they had to find a native family with fried chicken and water in the desert. They're like, do you know
what I had to do?
I had to call human resources to find a human. But that's another time I almost died. And then, eventually I waited for the nighttime, and then I, used the water and would just drive. The car could only go 60 kilometers an hour, so it took me 3 hours to get to the town, but I made it. And I actually pulled into the town with the fire coming out from under the hood, and I pulled up to the gas station with fire coming out of my hood. I got out of my car, I walked into the gas station, opened up a beer, because they sell beer in the gas stations there, and I just started drinking it. And the guy goes, yeah, I get it. I was like, there's nothing you can tell me, man. My car's on fire outside. Just fuck off for a few seconds, But yeah, man. Damn. I don't. You never really count your blessings because you look past them. And now at the age of 40, what I like to try to embrace more often is those blessings. I don't have a bad back. I don't have bad knees. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. I'm starting to look at the things that we take for granted every day. And the more I look at it, the fact that I can see, the fact that I'm alive, you know what I mean? Like,
the little things.
Yeah, those little things that we look past, that other people look at you and be like, man, if I could only have that. And so I'm finding happiness in having that. And that's from dying all the time. You ain't gonna get me this time, fuckers. Yeah, but that's all from my experiences with death. And I have many more, but the podcast only had so much time.
So where can we find you when you're in LA, man? You said Laugh Factory, Comedy Store.
Follow me at Sterling's Jokes on social media to keep it updated with all the shows. But on Father's Day, Chocolate Sundays at the Laugh Factory. June 9th, I'll be at the Comedy Store. June 27th or 28th. It's I can't remember the day. Whichever one is the Monday. I'll be at Mo Better, D-Ray Mondays on the 25th. I'm going to be at Punchline Sacramento, opening up for my boy Ellis Rodriguez as he's doing his live album recording for 800 Pound Gorilla. And the list goes on. So I'm going to definitely do what I did last time and document the entire story.
As you should.
Every day will be on it, and the last one, people were loving it like a soap opera. They were like, we had to check in every few hours just to be like, what's happening with Sterling's life. And so I'm definitely gonna do that again because I drove down recently, and this is another time I almost died. So this is the January trip. I was driving down, and then the car, the catalytic converter got clogged up. And I couldn't drive faster. You lose horsepower when that happens, and I couldn't drive faster than 60 kilometers an hour. And so I drove from Idaho to Bakersfield, California, doing 60 kilometers an hour.
How long did it take you?
I was somewhere around the 42-hour mark at that time, straight, no sleep. And then I almost died in Vegas because these people were trying to race and speed on the highway, and then the highways kept going from 4 to 8 lanes, yeah. And so I kept ending up in the middle of the highway trying to run back and scurry over, doing 60. I have my hazards on and everything, but people are blaring and honking me, and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. My hazards are on, and I'm trying to get over. I'm trying to go over to the slow lane, but there was these two cars, and like they were really mad at me, and they like were riding my bumper and like high beaming me, and then they after they got out of traffic, they sped off, and then crashed and blew up.
No way.
Yeah, and they both ended up on both sides of the highway, and then here I am driving through the fire, literally. And seeing their cars on fire as I drive by at 60 kilometers an hour. Yeah, man. That happened. That's some crazy. That is real. And then when I got to Bakersfield, California, again, this is me looking back and being like, God damn, I'm grateful. Because I got to Bakersfield, California, and there was a mechanic shop right where I was like, right where the gas station was. And I was like, oh my God, that's fucking a savior. Turns out that in Bakersfield, California, there's only 3 mechanics, and 2 of them went on vacation, and the other one wasn't picking up his phone. And I'm like, what the hell is going on in this city? So then I'm like, I got a tow to where I'm staying in L.A. And I have AMA, and one of my tows on AMA is 310 kilometers, and my boy's place is next to a mechanic shop, and it's 308 kilometers away. They told me directly to the front door of my friend's house. And I was just like, damn, I made it to the show on time and everything. You know what I mean? So
those damn numbers, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, it's so creepy when I was talking about it, because I say creepy not in a negative way. I'm saying creepy was like, oh my God, like,
yeah, holy smokes.
Yeah, like I failed so much in my life, I don't know what it is to not fail, like, and so when success is coming, it's almost like I'm scared, because I'm like, when is the moment you're going to let me down? And I don't feel that's going to happen this time. And so I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to make it. Like,
you just keep going.
Oh, I'm going. My goal is to become one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. I know that's a subjective thing, and I know that's an arrogant thing to say, but that's my thing. And that's what I'm shooting for. And you can follow me on that journey at Sterling's Jokes, or check out my website, sterlingscottlive.com. But most of all, make sure you guys check in and listen to this podcast and keep seeing when my ass will come back and not be dead from another car accident.
You guys heard it here first. Sterling Scott.
Thank you so
Sterling
much.
Jokes. You guys know what it is. Another great episode of The Gifted Gab. 1K Convos, baby. Oh, man, appreciate you for coming.
I appreciate you, man. We talked the hell out of this place. The funny thing is you guys may only get like an hour episode. We've been here like 3 hours. Just so you guys know, we've been talking, man. Like, we've been talking.
We've been talking.
You want to talk about Gifted Gab? You guys just see the unedited version. Holy shit. We really got it. But hey, it was a good talking. I have no regrets. I had a good time.
We always a good time.
That was a good time.
And just like that, we gone.